Hello, welcome to another video from EarnPed.com. I'm Stevie B, happy to have you all with me today as I am doing some repair skilling on the Mothership Kronan. So I headed out from Next Island. I wanted to do some repair skilling to get my HP up, my evade up and everything. And yeah, so I'm actually going to make a video that I never thought I'd get to make. Let's hit number H for the Hoth Board. And let's pull up the Hoth Board real quick. Yep. Number one on the Hoth Board, Stevie B brags. Creature killed Cosmic Horror Young, 5,676 ped. So, wow. I really don't even know what to say. Not my biggest Hoth ever. I had a 15,000 ped Hoth at one point. But needless to say, this is probably a close second. I very rarely have had Hoths in this range, given my playstyle, and I wasn't expecting it. Not even close. And to be number one on the Hoth board, that is impressive when it's not something you're expecting to happen. So how did it happen? Well, I'm kind of in shock, but that's why I wanted to make this video, because I want to get it out there for you guys to be able to see, so hopefully you guys can have experiences like this playing Entropia Universe. Because it's one thing when you're down a bajankload of ped, and then you Hoth and it takes out the variance, which is what we're used to, right? We're not used to a TT profit. It's a complete other thing when you're doing a run and you're up 5,181.53%. So, how did this happen? Well, I came out to the Mothership Kronan after Next Island. So when Mayhem ended, I went to Next Island and I started making some videos for the community recognition program. And then once I had made some videos and got a couple uploaded and had a couple saved for a rainy day, I decided to come do some skilling on the Mothership Kronan. And I like to pilot it because that gives me a lot of skills like avoidance. But then I also like to do a lot of repair skilling because that gives me a lot of skills like serendipity, but it also works on getting all those crafting skills up. And given my defense and my crafting goals in-game, using VSE kind of grows almost all the skills that I'm looking to grow. The only skills that vehicle repairing will not grow for me that I would like to grow are some of my Mind Force skills, but since it is so broad across the board, that is why I love vehicle repair skilling. I'm hitting all those skills at the same time. I'm actually running a 100% skill pill right now. I got 28 minutes left. And then whenever I fly the ship and I'm taking damage from creatures so other people can repair on the ship, it allows me to get defense skills there too. So all across the board, I love repair skilling in space. It's one of my favorite things to do in game. Plus, I find it very, very relaxing. I find it very enjoyable whenever I need to shut my brain off and just kind of be able to go into autopilot mode. So one of the things that I will do is whenever I get a really, really big ball of space mobs, I will use the Mothership turret to kill them, to hunt them, so that I can just keep going. So I don't have to drag them all the way back to the space station and drown them, so I can just kill them, go get another ball, dry those out, kill them, go get another ball, dry those out, kill them, go get another ball, dry those out. I'm trying to make the most of the time that I have in game. And the one thing that I don't necessarily like about the way that Mindark has designed Mothership weapons is they don't really use the buffs that you would be able to use elsewhere. So if I put on a ring and the ring gives me reload speed or increased critical chance, those buffs do not work on a Mothership turret or a vehicle weapon the way they would work on a weapon that I had in my hand, like a gun or a knife. So same with pills. I can take all the pills I want, and while those buffs would normally work on the weapon that I'm holding, they're not going to work on vehicle-based weapons, whether it's a Mothership turret or something on a quad or a sleep or whatever. So that's the only thing I don't like, because I can't change my damage per peck based off my gear and my consumables. I can't change my damage per second. I'm just stuck with the base stats of whatever weapon I'm using on whatever vehicle. And that being said, it's not my... I wish Mindark would change it because it's not my preferred way to play. However, given all the other stuff that's going on, I'll make use of it when I can, when I have to, right? Because like I said, it's easier and faster to just hunt them and kill them and move on and get another ball and get the skills out of them, hunt them, move on, get another ball, get the skills out of them, than it is to fly all the way back to the space station sometimes. So that's what I did. I sat down and I did a run. I've got this 100% skill pill running, so I got me a big ball and I got everybody some damage going. In fact, give me a second. I'm making repairs, and then we'll continue for more mobs. So that's exactly what I did. Is I got a big ball together. We got some damage going, and I got them balled up. And once we had the damage, I started hunting them. And I've done cosmic cores quite a bit over the past couple of months. Probably not nearly as much as some people in game. I'm sure it's not like I'm on rank 26 of Codex or anything with them. And cosmic cores are one of those that you have to hunt quite a few. You want to do a hunt run of at least 100, bare minimum. It's like anything else. You don't want to hunt 2 or 3. You really want to do a pretty decent number, and for cosmic cores, the number seems to be at least 100 on most runs. I've actually had runs where you're just losing money left and right, and then all of a sudden you'll hit a global. The global is what you're really after because, again, you're trying to take that variance out, and cosmic cores can run about 3 to 4 pet a kill. In fact, let me see if I can pull up my stats real quick. Cost to kill, yeah, it was looking like they were running right at about 3 to 4 ped. I had a couple that were 5 ped, a couple that were 2 ped, but right at 3 to 4 ped, which is pretty normal. And like I said, usually I try and do a run of at least 100 because whenever you're doing cosmic cores, the run can go very, very bad at first, and then, you know, eventually you'll get a global, and it seems to take about 100 to 125 kills on an day to get the global. Now, I have had some runs where I did 125, 150, 175 kills, didn't get a global, and I just was like, oh, screw this, I'm done. But that being said, today's run was the opposite of what I usually experience, and I got going, and I got almost the entire ball gone. I had like 2, maybe 3 mobs left to kill on the ball. And about 38 kills in, I heard the Hoth sound. Now, I can't see it because I'm in space, but I could hear it. And I heard the little trumpet and everything, and the little applause, and it was very clearly the Hoth. There's actually a difference in a global and a Hoth. There's a different sound that's made. There's a different sound effect. There's also a different swirl. If you look, if you put 2 pictures side by side of a Hoth swirl and a global swirl, they're 2 very different swirls. The Hoth swirl is much, much thicker, much, much bigger, much more tornado-y. And the global swirl is a little bit thinner, a little bit not quite as thick, and a little bit stringier, and a little bit more condensed. So they're 2 very different swirls, 2 very different sound effects. And I looked in the top left, and I could see where it said, you know, a couple of the things that I'd gotten in my loot. Nothing big. I saw 67 ped and 25 ped. And at first I was thinking it was a global, but I heard the sound effect. And I was like, well, I'm not seeing anything super special here. It just looks like, you know, about 100 ped global, which, okay, cool, you know, and I was happy with that. But the sound effect's what got me. And then I looked at the global screen, and the global screen came across the screen, and it said Stevie B brags. And it said, you know, 5,700 something ped, and I was like, whoa, what are you talking about, 5,700 something ped? Like, what's going on here? So sure enough, I hit the Hoth button, and number 1 for hunting for the day, Cosmic Horror Young, 5,676 ped. And I was like, wow, oh, okay. I had not been expecting that. So I pull up the loot, and sure enough, there's this vacuum flex energy generator, which is 25 ped. That's one of the things that I saw whenever I looked at my loot that was going across the screen right here. I saw the vacuum flex energy generator, which is 25 ped, and I saw 67 ped worth of animal oil residue, and that's why I was thinking about 100 ped, 67 and 25, you know, it's close to 100. But then I saw the shrapnel, 5,547.38 ped worth of shrapnel. So $554.73 worth of shrapnel. And then, of course, there was the 67.92 ped of animal oil residue. There was, you know, another 67 ped of animal muscle oil. And then there was the vacuum flex energy generator, which is 25 ped. and then all this other stuff kind of, came from the 37 kills before it. So only 38 kills total, and yes, it was either the last or the second to last kill in the run. So I was very, very impressed. I was speechless, needless to say. And I immediately was like, okay, I've got to pump out a video about this, because this is the kind of stuff that it does happen. You don't expect it to happen, but every now and then it does happen. And this is where my playstyle is completely inverted, and why I try and teach you guys to have your playstyle completely inverted from other people. So other people log in, and their goal is to have these kind of hits. That's what they're after, is these big giant hits. Well, guys, these are few and far between. Now, I did have a pretty good hit in the 4,000 ped range, 4,700, something like that, back at Easter Mayhem, but I was running Easter Mayhem. This is totally different. I expected at some point in Easter Mayhem, given how I was set up, how I was running, I was expecting at some point I was going to Hoth, because I knew I was going to be down quite substantially in my Easter Mayhem runs. So that was expected. That wasn't a TT profit. That was just taking the variance out. That was just giving me back 4,700-ish ped that I had spent in decay and ammo and yada yada with Easter Mayhem. This is totally different. This is totally unexpected. This is, I was in for 111 ped. So I spent, a whopping $11 on hunting 38 creatures, and bam, I get back total return of 5,806.7 ped, so $580.67 back. That's a pretty ridiculous hit, and I can honestly say this is, I believe, the first and only time that I've been playing Entropia in the past 5 years. I believe this is the only time where I've hit a pretty big, pretty decent sized Hall of Fame, and I have not first been down a considerable amount. Usually, like I said, it's a payback to take the variance out. Usually, you're doing Mayhem and you're down 8,000 ped, and then you hit for 5,600 or something like that. And it just takes that variance out. You're still going to be at a TT loss, but the question is how big of a TT loss. Ideally, a very small one. Ideally, you get those globals and those Hoths, and you're sitting somewhere around 95, 96, 97% TT return, and then, of course, markup is where we get back to even and hopefully make our profit. It's exceedingly, exceedingly rare to just be going about what you're doing and not be down thousands and thousands and thousands of ped, and then all of a sudden be up thousands and thousands and thousands of ped. That's a very, very rare day indeed, and one that, I'm very excited for. So I wanted to get it on video because I wasn't expecting it. Absolutely made my day. Thank you, MindArc. Thank you, Entropia. And it's one of those things I wanted to share with you guys, so that's why I immediately started recording. So it does happen. It is possible. However, if we count on it, and then it doesn't happen day after day after day after day. That's what most people do. And where this channel is different is we don't believe in playing like that. We believe in playing smarter, not harder. And that means knowing that day after day after day, that's not going to be common. That's not going to be the norm. That's not going to be what usually happens. And knowing that, but then whenever it does someday happen, being very, very thankful, very, very happy, very, very excited that it did. And that's exactly where I'm at today. So I wanted to go ahead and share it with you guys. And hopefully it is a little bit of inspiration to you guys. So yes, I was out a total of $11, and I got back loot totaling $580.67. So wow, 38 kills in the run. That is pretty freakishly amazing in every aspect. The only way I could possibly be more impressed right now is if it had been the very first kill right off the bat. So absolutely amazing, very, very stoked, very, very happy. That is just wow, awesome, great stuff. And I wanted to get it on video for you guys because how often do you really get to be number one on the Hoth Board? And then not only that, how often do you get to be number one on the Hoth Board, not doing something where you can expect to be number one on the Hoth Board? You know, if I'm going at Mayhem all out and I'm doing it and I know that I'm going to be down a substantial amount of money and I'm eventually going to hit pretty big, I can kind of guess that at some point I'm going to be close to the top on the Hoth Board. But to actually hit #1 for the day without expecting it, just because you were like, hey, you know what, I'm just going to kill these mobs instead of turreting them, and then I'm just going to go get another ball and just keep repeating, and just not expecting it. That is the part where it's like, whoa, okay, slow clap, didn't see that coming. So I want to throw this out there because hopefully it will be inspiration for you guys. Hopefully if there's anybody that's watching today that in 2023 has thought about playing Entropia Universe but hasn't started yet, you know, hopefully this will help you get in game and get started on your career in Entropia, because we're already celebrating 20 years. I wish I had started 20 years ago instead of 5 years ago. I'm about to celebrate my 5th EU birthday. My 5th EU birthday is coming up at the end of the month. So I wish I had started in 2006, 2007 when I first heard about the game and not waited. So if you are still on the fence, if you're still waiting, get off the fence, download the game, get started, learn as much as you can, because it is a great game. It is a great way to relax. It's a great way to have fun. And every now and then you get those once in a blue moons where you get those amazing hits you're just really not expecting at all. So great little surprise. Glad that I can share it with you guys. Glad that I can put this out there to hopefully inspire people who currently play or who are thinking about playing. And at the end of the day, I want to tell you guys how much I really appreciate you guys giving me all the support that you give me. I get private messages from people all the time. I run into people in game all the time, and they're always talking to me about how much the videos help them. Well, guys, you guys help me. It's the fact that you guys are there watching the videos, and it's helping you to play better, helping you to play smarter, not harder, helping you guys to better enjoy the game. That's a huge part of what makes this game very, very enjoyable for me. So I really, really appreciate that. So I wanted to leave it there for today. I am going to go hunt me some more space mobs. I've got to go ball up some more space mobs before I do. But before I do, we're going to run downstairs to the trade terminal real quick. So guys, head over to earnped.com, because when you earn, we earn. That is by far the best way you guys can help support us. Simply use the links on earnped.com to head over to hideout.tv. Hideout will automatically add us as a redemption option for your hideout points. No additional work needed on your behalf. Guys, also be sure and hit all 3 of those buttons that us YouTubers always tell you about. The subscribe button, because every single subscriber matters. We really appreciate every single one. Every single like on every single video is massively, massively important to us. Cannot stress that enough. And guys, hit that little bell icon, because that will notify you when we put up new content. And when you hit all 3 of those buttons, you are giving YouTube a signal that they need to show our videos to more people, that they need to give us more exposure, and that in turn ends up putting these videos in front of people who might play other PC games, other real cash economy MMORPGs, but who possibly have never heard of Entropia before. It might be the first and only time they are really exposed to Entropia is through our videos. And then they learn to play smarter, not harder. And as a result, they end up downloading the game. They become part of the community. They become, we're going to convert that to ammo, get our free 1%. There we go, 5,602.85 ped worth of ammo. They end up becoming part of the economy. They might even join a society. They might have bought something off you off auction before. And it's all because you hit those 3 YouTube buttons. So guys, it helps us, it helps the game, it helps the economy, but it could inadvertently help you too. You never know who's in game that is playing with you right now, buying something off you right now, who's only here because you hit those 3 buttons. So it's free, it takes literally 1 second, and it's a small thing for you, but it's huge for us and it's huge for the game, and we really, really appreciate it. So guys, please hit those buttons and help support us that way also. So guys, I'm going to leave it there for today. I've got a lot more content coming for you, but I wanted to share this one with you because it was just so unexpected, and I hope that it can help to motivate other people that are playing or considering playing. So I'll leave it right there for today. Sip, sip, smack, smack. Y'all know the rest. Till next time, take care, Stevies. Take care, guys.